They said this is not correct. So, the heading is criticisms of the basic structure concept. What were the objections raised by many people, and what is its reply, or rather what is the answer to those criticism? Both I would like to discuss in this video. So, the common criticism is that this doctrine has no basis in the constitution's language. The first and the foremost criticism is no basis in has no basis in the constitution's language, in the constitution's language. There is no basis. In fact, the phrase basic structure is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. It is not a constitutional phrase, and most importantly, this is a it's an idea, it's a judicial innovation. It is a judiciary, or rather judiciary imposing its philosophy over a democratically formed government. This, according to critics, it is judiciary imposing its philosophy over, and which is non-elected. These are judiciary is not elected. So, judiciary imposing its philosophy over a democratically formed government, over a democratically formed government. Democratically formed government, and that is what the former Union Minister Arun Jaitley once said, this is tyranny of the unelected. See, this is the this is the logic given by the critics, tyranny of the unelected. This is what former law minister, finance minister Arun Jaitley said, tyranny of the unelected. The basic structure, they also say that the Supreme Court did a third argument by the critics. They say that this basic structure is not defined by judiciary. You are not even defining. You said there is basic structure, but then you are not defining at all. And so the court, the amending power, and the fourth point they argued is the amending power of the parliament is not even defined by judiciary. A fourth point is the amending power of the parliament. Amending power of the parliament cannot be, the amending power of the parliament cannot be subject to a vague and uncertain doctrine like this, cannot be subject to a vague and uncertain doctrine like this. This amending power of the parliament cannot be subject to a vague and uncertain doctrine like this. And but that is, these are the criticisms raised by the critics of this basic structure. But this criticism, its reply, or rather, but there is a counter argument to all these things. The most important counter argument, now coming to the counter arguments. These were some of the arguments against the basic structure. Now coming to the counter arguments, number one is, it is deeply rooted in the Constitution's text and history. Now according to experts, it is deeply rooted in the Constitution's text and history. It is not something, it is out of the blue. It has not come out just like that. It also possesses substantial moral value, and in that it strengthens the democracy, limiting the power of the majoritarian government. It has substantial moral value. It has substantial moral value. It strengthens democracy, because when you limit the power, unlimited power is always tyranny. It limits the power, it limits the power of the parliament, and it strengthens, because of that it strengthens the democracy, it limits the power of a majoritarian government. Imagine a situation where if a particular party comes to power with an overwhelming majority on some emotional issue, and if they try to change the constitution, Supreme Court has a mechanism to block it, because Supreme Court brings in judicial review, and Supreme Court can strike down such a constitutional amendment. Even if it is passed by both the houses of the parliament with the required majority, it can still be struck down on the grounds of violation of basic structure of the constitution. So it limits the power of the parliament, especially a majoritarian or an authoritarian government, a majoritarian or an authoritarian, an autocratic leaders. If majoritarian governments and authoritarian governments with autocratic leaders emerge, it can be disastrous for the country. Our secular fabric can be violated, our democratic setup can be changed. But this can be limited by using this basic structure, and moreover, this doctrine is not vague. Most importantly, this is not a vague doctrine. Not defined. Supreme Court did not define it. That does not mean it is non-existent. Not defined does not mean it is non-existent. It is non-existent. Yes, Supreme Court did not define, but that does not mean basic structure is not there. Basic structure is there. But only thing is that they did not define it. If something cannot be measured and packed and neatly arranged, that does not mean that it is non-existent. Say air around us, our atmosphere, you may not be able to see it. That does not mean that atmosphere is not there. Air is not there. The same way, basic structure may not be defined, but that does not mean it is non-existent. If you look at the historic background, if historic background of our constitution, if we look at the historic background, the preamble, historic background, the preamble, comma, the entire scheme of the constitution, preamble, the entire scheme of the constitution, the entire scheme of the constitution, including the relevant provisions like Article 368, including the relevant provisions of Article 368 are considered, then there is no difficulty in understanding, are considered, then there is no difficulty in understanding what are the elements of basic structure. I am repeating, if historic background, the preamble, the entire scheme of constitution, including the relevant provisions of Article 368 are considered, then there is no difficulty in understanding what are the essential features of the constitution or the essential features of the basic structure of the constitution. And ever since 1951, when the first amendment was made, Parliament always behaved as if they have unlimited power in amending the constitution. And this, had this not been checked, a situation would have come whereby the very nature and the very structure and the very basics of our constitution would have been changed over a period of time. We have seen repeatedly the Parliament is amending our fundamental rights. This would have taken away our rights at some point of time. So with the right interpretation, because most importantly we should understand here is Constitution is supreme, Parliament is not supreme in India. So, as long as Constitution is supreme, you are only given amending power, your rewriting power is not given to the Parliament, only amend, make some changes. So, if a legislature is bestowed with the powers to amend the Constitution, that means it is always subject to a set of inherent constraints. Please understand, the word used is amending power of the Constitution, amending power of the Parliament. So, this amending power itself suggests that the authority is subject to a set of inherent constraints. Inherent authority is subject to a set of inherent constraints. Parliament is a creation of the Constitution. It is, see, Constitution created Parliament, not Parliament created Constitution. Parliament is a creation of the Constitution. So, it can make some changes, but it cannot make changes which will ultimately overthrow or remove the Constitution itself. So, where Parliament's power, if the Parliament's power is considered to be infinite, then the parliamentary executive can remove the fundamental rights, it can abrogate, change everything, it can even change the sovereign democratic republican character also. So, it can be disastrous for the nation. So, it can lead to a totalitarian regime if parliaments, the final argument here is, if parliament's power is infinite, our country will be converted into a totalitarian regime. Our country will be converted into a totalitarian regime. There will be tyranny in this country. Our rights will be taken away. So, limited power is the right recipe and the right interpretation of the Constitution. Basic structure, even though it came only in 1973, it was there right from the beginning. That is the right interpretation. It is the duty of the Supreme Court to protect. Supreme Court has to protect the Constitution, to make sure that it is, the constitutional provisions are not violated, the rights of the people are not taken away. Supreme Court cannot run away from this responsibility. It is the duty of the Supreme Court to protect us from the excesses of the government, from the excesses of the executive, from the excesses of certain authoritarian leaders who would like to take away all powers and who thinks that they know everything, who thinks that they have the solution for all the problem. Such leaders can be controlled only with the help of this basic structure doctrine. Had this doctrine not been there, they would have amended the Constitution, destroyed the Constitution by this time. Luckily, Supreme Court came up with this verdict in 1973, and we are hoping that Supreme Court will continue to uphold this basic structure doctrine with more zeal and vigor to protect our rights. If the Supreme Court gives up, if the Supreme Court surrenders in front of one or two powerful political leaders, it can be disaster in waiting for us. Let us hope this will not happen. So, despite all criticism, basic structure is the right interpretation of the Constitution by the judiciary in 1973.